Question: was Josh Powell involved with prostitutes and strippers? Did he have an affair? It is a storyline that played out following Susan Powell's disappearance, and among many theories up for discussion in this week's episode of the Cold Podcast. Dave Colley now reports.
By the time police declared the Susan Powell case cold, they had received more than 800 tips. Information from individuals ran the gamut, from simple suggestions of where to look to detailed psychic conversations with a ghostly Susan. There were Susan sightings in Georgia, Montana, Hawaii, and Alaska. And others claimed to have encountered Josh in casinos, hotels, and even strip clubs.
You're thinking, nah, he's not the type of person that would get involved in prostitution, but being in police for 20 years, nothing really surprises me anymore.
After the story broke, I said, God, where do I know that guy? And then I traced it back, oh, that's that guy in the bar, because nobody forgets a jerk.
Sherman, a regular at the South Salt Lake Gentlemen's Club Deuces Wild, told KSL at the time he had sat next to Josh at the bar on the day she was reported missing.
Kept repeating that he had a really bad day and he had a story to tell.
Police at the time couldn't prove Josh had been at the bar, but they also couldn't prove he hadn't. Now we can. Customers said Josh had arrived at the club at 2 p.m. and left about 2.5 hours later. Josh's phone records put him near his West Valley home at 3 and down south at the point of the mountain at 3:30. Unless someone else had his phone, Josh could not possibly have been at Deuces Wild. Another tip came from a woman who called herself Christine. She claimed she and Josh had frequented Mill Creek and Butterfield Canyons for sexual exploits. Police later determined her story didn't add up.
She never called him. They never had communication, stuff like that. So, it was put to bed.
Harder to put to bed was an even wilder tale from this man, Andrew Anderson, a Utah State Prison inmate who wanted to cut himself a deal in exchange for information. Anderson sent letter after letter to investigators, claiming to have met Josh Powell at a bowling alley where Josh had been with a stripper named Summer.
I don't know if that's her stripper name or real name or anything.
Police spent months trying to track down Summer, but it was all for naught. The longer Andrew held to his story, the more holes it developed.
Andrew Anderson. Yeah, he burned up a lot of our time.
Susan Powell's story continues on Cold this week with the latest episode, Chasing Leads, available now wherever you get podcasts, at thecoldpodcast.com and on the KSL TV app.